first nationwide hosted Black Enterprise magazine right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Try to give y'all a good view of exactly what we're doing this weekend right here. From the 13th to the 16th, downtown at the Hyde, 265 Peachtree, Atlanta, Georgia.
You can love that shine station. You love it. That's a nice touch. Yeah. Classic.
Looks like we got Steve Harvey coming up in this cup.
Okay, I'm just going to get some. Appreciate it. So let it rain.
And they're going to help them fill some forms with the SBA or something, and they want 5% of your company, right? Come on, I mean, investigate all the accelerators, see what's really valuable and what's not. If you have questions, like I got my email address, tom@startupsillustrated.com or tom@coreytextiles.com. I will answer your email and I will help you out with some of this stuff. But really investigate the accelerators, see what value they can provide to you so you're not wasting time, and match your needs at that point in time for your company with what the accelerator provides you.
Yeah, I think it's really important to talk to folks who've gone through the accelerators, and because they'll tell you candidly whether it was worth it or not. And I'm a big proponent of them, and I highly recommend them. And if I can provide any advice on my experience with newbie or 500 startups offline, feel free to let me know. You can email me at chris@solzy.com.
So I think I'm like devil's advocate about the accelerator since my experience wasn't as shining. But what I will say is that outside of just building the network in New York and some of the things I mentioned earlier, the major thing that being an accelerator prepped me for was no. Because the leaders of the accelerator challenged me a lot on whether or not we could build this very, very difficult technical product. And mostly said that we couldn't. And that was good preparation for investors saying, no, I do not want to invest in your startup right now. And so it actually helped me to build a tough skin. So I don't know if that's good or not, but I'll take it as a plus. And again, my recommendation before you get into an accelerator, and I think something that's really helped me, is to find the one-day boot camps or the specific focus areas that you need to work on in your business, and find programs that you can go to help on those things where you don't have to give away equity. Because I feel like there are a ton of people, organizations that are really taking advantage of early companies. And so I definitely say, buyer beware in terms of accelerators, because where there's obviously awesome accelerators and these guys represent and have had experience with those, there's just as many or probably more of the ones who are really just taking advantage of early stage companies. So I would say definitely beware of those. Yeah.
You think about it, the ratings for that show went up for 8 weeks in a row. 8 weeks in a row, but beyond the content of the show and the compelling talent that's in it and the storylines, and it found a path that reached everyone, but it hit not only that core audience, but it hit a wider audience as well. But the thing that really propelled it was the fact that everyone was on the second screen on Twitter and Instagram at the same time that they're watching the show. You had to watch it in real time, just like watching the Super Bowl, because it was going to pop up in the feed on your phone if you weren't watching it then. And that's why it just kept going up and up and up. It's one of those things, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not a circumstance that show, which, African Americans and Latinos, are higher users of social media and watching content online on their phones than the general audience. And shows like Scandal's the same thing. And I think that it's a tool that could be incredibly effective for entrepreneurs in this space as well as artists. I don't think you can look at a business without figuring out some kind of way that you're engaging in social media in some shape, form, or fashion.
Well, this business is all about content. All right, content is in high demand. Christine, how do you go about protecting your ideas when you're trying to pitch yourself to someone like Charles or other angel investors? How do you go about protecting that?
Well, I mean, there are several agencies, depending on what kind of work you're working on. If it's a creative work, you can register your work with agencies that will help you protect your work. But in terms of like being able to ask Charles to sign an NDA, good luck. Yes, a non-disclosure agreement or some sort of confidentiality agreement. So it's almost laughable when someone comes to a funder and says, I want you to look at my project, I want you to fund my project, but first I need you to sign this confidentiality agreement. And I think and I just bring it up because so many clients ask me that all the time, if it's appropriate for them to, or if I can draw up an NDA for them when they're presenting their idea or their work. And the truth of the matter is that funders see so many projects that nothing's new under the sun. So there's going to be similarities. And so they would never put themselves in a situation where they would sign an NDA that may open them up to liability because they greenlighted a project that's similar to yours. So that sort of is not really realistic, but there are other ways for you to ensure that that you understand, or that it's understood that the work that you've done, self-publishing is one, to start as a book and to self-publish, a way to really protect your work.
And Charles, I have a question for you. How does someone go about pitching to angel investors? If they've gotten over the idea of maybe a risk to exposing my idea, how do we approach an angel investor?
Well, I think, every profession, or it just depends on if it's a tech platform, or if it's a fashion line, or entertainment company. I think every one of them are different. I think the one good thing is that you can always think about the well of your own personal relationship base. Like, everybody knows someone it's crazy. Back in the day, I used to be involved with network marketing, and there was this saying, this is terrible, but it was like every dud knows a stud. but in reality, yeah, we all have our friends and our colleagues in the professional circle, but everyone in your circle is also connected to someone else. And your friends and your colleagues can vouch for you to other people that are influential. And I think that sometimes you can just get your proof of concept by getting some people in your inner circle or some people just outside of their circle to just get you enough to show, hey, there are some people who really back and believe what I'm building. And then that's at least the initial proof of concept before you start going into a wider pool of people that may not be directly related to you, that may be professional investors, whether they're an angel investor or a venture capital or institutional fund, but that if you can start with that initial well, because what will happen is that institutional capital or people outside of it, they will at least see, hey, people that know you and that have been in business with you, or your friends and colleagues, that they're backing you, and at least it shows that you have a core group that's already behind you. So that's one. The second thing is, just like in representing artists, the same thing for founders. You look at people that are, have an incredible, compelling story, their background, their track record, passion, what's the marketplace. Well, yeah, there's all of those things. The other thing is, once again, social media. You got places like AngelList and all of these platforms now where you can get investors from your concept, and interested investors just from listing your concept and your idea in these areas where there are angel investors and people out there in the market and on the marketplace that are looking for new ideas and new founders. And so, and then the other thing is, there are all types of incubators and accelerators, whether it's a tech company or whether it's a fashion company, and they're in every city. I know that there's an innovation ecosystem here in Atlanta. I mean, they're all over the place. They're not just in Silicon Valley. And then there are accelerators like NUI Accelerator, which is for African Americans, and accelerators for female founders, or for people from every background imaginable. So you're doing your research on those places and trying to pinpoint what's going to be a good fit for you. I think that's also another good way into the path a wider base of investors.
But come with the proof of concept, and that to be really specific. So like example, if you are doing a film, at least have a really, really hot sizzle reel that you've produced, that you've distributed through your network, that you can show that people like, that you have a following for. If you want to be a songwriter, make sure that you have some sort of sample. Like if you're going to make a clothing line, you need to have samples. So you have to sort of get that support and that following from your sampling, and that's how I always think about any business idea. You should always have a sampling that you've proven that people have an affinity for.
That's an excellent point. Can I just piggyback on that? I want to give one specific example on the film side of something that happened recently that I was involved in. So a former client of mine, Justin Simeon, did a 3-minute sizzle reel on this film, Dear White People. And this 3-minute sizzle reel, I saw on Huffington Post.
Yeah.
So before I was representing, I was like, wow, what is this? And he was someone who was savvy, who had worked in digital marketing. And so he was able to put the trailer out there and shot it with some of his friends. I thought it was really fresh and very, compelling. And then right around the same time, 2 or 3 of my friends in the industry saw it as well. They started calling. And
Yeah, it's coming for you. You're quite perfect. How about you? Yes. How are you? He does
First come, first serve.
All right, good morning to you. I like it already. I always judge a room by how loud it gets, and already this side is nice and loud. So good morning, everyone. All right, there you go. Hand clapping already, I love it. So this is a panel that I've been very much looking forward to. And the reason why is that in 2000, there were only 4 reality television shows on air. Only 4 in 2000. Today, in 2015, we have nearly 500 reality TV shows. 500. Now, over that time, the number of channels have grown, the number of distribution points, including Hulu and Netflix, has grown. And it turns out that never before has there been a high likelihood that you, every single person sitting in this room, can be or will be on a reality TV show. And so today, what we're going to be talking about is A, is reality TV right for your business? Secondly, how do you actually get on a reality television show that is right for your business? And third, once you're on a reality TV show, how do you leverage that to grow your business? Right, so this is our focal point. At the end, we'll talk for 20 minutes, and then we'll have about 20 minutes of Q&A. Now, the panel is probably the perfect panel for this conversation, right? Why? Because we have someone who had a business prior to reality TV and someone who really grew their business after reality TV. And me, myself, I was actually on a reality TV show and grew a business after reality TV. So I can't wait to share that as well with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the guests to give an introduction of themselves and a little bit of their background, and we're going to start with none other than Kim Kimball.
Can you hear me? Yes. Let me just start saying Kim Kimball is a 3rd-generation hairstylist. I'm a celebrity hairstylist. That's how I got my start. And then became, a salon owner and an entrepreneur, and now a celebrity of a reality TV show.
Super. Egypt.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. God is good.
public sees it. I think many of you may have remembered me as a radio personality, as I was a radio personality for 20 years. So that was my brand. But I also had another career as a real estate professional, and I've been licensed for almost 15 years. But many people didn't know because the larger platform was radio. But at the time, I was on radio and leveraged my real estate business with my radio business, and wound up selling the homes of some pretty big celebrities: Michael Strahan, Terrence J, who's now on E, Queen Latifah. And so I was doing this while I was also a radio personality. And lo and behold, I get a phone call from HDTV, and they say, "Did you ever think about hosting a show where you teach people how to buy real estate?" And I thought it was a joke, but apparently it wasn't. 235 episodes later, it wound up being an immense blessing. And that is how I got a chance to marry my passion with purpose. And so now I am also going to be hosting a new show that I'm executive producing called Flipping Virgins. Get your minds out the gutter. But it's a growth from property virgins, where I work with first-time investors, teaching them how to flip. And life kind of brings you full circle, because that's how I got started in real estate. So it's a pleasure to be here with you this
last occasion for the night. The dinner. Trying to suck up all the nights I can suck up. A lot of brothers and sisters shared a lot of good things here on 2 days here. Like Enterprise, you guys got a lot of class, and I want y'all to know that. Hopefully I can make you front base one day. But until then, what we gonna do is make sure that we keep on pushing.